Hi, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. So you might be wondering, Jen, why are you standing in your kitchen? Why is your kitchen so dirty? This isn't your normal setup. Usually you're in front of a pretty bookcase. Well, guys, I need to film. I have the urge to film myself cooking something. And I also wanted to have something bookish to talk about while I do this. This is kind of going to be a cooking vlog / I'm telling you my 2019 booktube goals / reading goals. And I thought it would be fun to bring you along while I cook myself something to eat. And so I have my 2019 reading goals here that I've been coming up with over the last couple weeks. Been waiting for the right time because it felt too early in November to put it up, but now that we're into December, I was like, I want to get this up because I have a lot of end of the year things to film, a lot of fun ideas and things to talk about. But my 2019 goals, I didn't feel like I needed to make it super serious because who knows if I'll even stick to this anyway. So anyway, first I'm going to tell you what I'm making, and once I get that underway, because I'm making some pretty easy stuff, then I can get back and I'll tell you what I have planned for myself. So what I'm making today is, so over Thanksgiving, my Aunt Karen, hi Lulu, in case you watch this, she showed me this super amazing creamed corn recipe, which I know that seems super boring to have and weird to have not on a holiday, but guys, it was mind-blowing. And it's mind-blowing because it has 4 kinds of dairy in it. It has butter, heavy whipping cream, milk, and cheese, and corn. And you mix it up on your stove and then you bake it for 15 minutes and it's amazing. So I'm gonna be making that. I have one of these single serve mashed potatoes because I don't need to make a whole batch for myself. And then I have some chicken that I'm going to fry up. Not like fried chicken, but I'm gonna fry it in a pan. And so I'm just gonna make myself a meal for once. The first thing I'm gonna get started on is the corn because you have to mix it on the stove and then you have to do it. So I'm gonna turn the camera here, and I'm sure this will be super unflattering to me, but that's okay. And yeah, that's also my dining room because I live in an apartment and it's super tiny. So here is the pot that I'm going to make the corn in. And I'm also doing this from memory, so we'll see how well I do with that. But I'm going to turn on the stove. And what you need to do is you do, I think it's supposed to be 3 cups of frozen corn. And I think this works out to be that. I'm not trying to exactly make that same amount because we made enough for my entire part of the family there. I had such a fun time cooking with my aunt. I got to their house in the cities, and I went with my parents. We went to my Aunt Karen's, and it was so much fun. I ended up getting to help cook a bunch of the things, and I don't really get to cook with my family anymore, you know? I've baked with my sister sometimes, but we never really just cook together. That doesn't usually happen. So it was so nice. We made this. She was working on some of this is freezer burnt because it's from an old. I hope that's gonna still be okay. We'll see. It's only for me, so I don't really have to impress anybody. Because I don't care. You guys aren't going to taste it. Yeah, I don't really get to cook with my family anymore. And that weekend was fun, too, because I baked pies with my dad. And my dad I appreciate my dad so much at this point in my life. We had some struggles when I was younger, which, I mean, who doesn't? But I just enjoy him so much. And we had such a good time baking. And he's telling me trade secrets. And we were just having a great time. So you put the milk in, I'm about to put the milk in. Put the corn in, and then you're supposed to do a cup of milk. I'm gonna do about that. Pour that in. you then put in, I'm modifying this, like I said, because there's a little less. So of the heavy whipping cream, I'm going to do about half a cup of that. Okay. And then you want to put in sugar, salt, pepper, and I'm going to add some extra spices that we didn't put in when we made it before because some of my family members can't have them. So you want to put in a tablespoon of sugar, some salt, some pepper, excuse me. All right, I should say the first goal now because this is just me cooking. So my first goal is I want to read 120 books. So deciding how many books I want to put on my Goodreads list was probably like the hardest thing to decide, and I couldn't really figure out why that was. I feel like now, that there's people paying attention to my Goodreads, that I was more nervous about it. Because last year at the beginning of the year, I hadn't started a booktube yet. And the year before, I'd only read 34 books. So when I started my booktube, so at the start of the year, I put it as 50 books because I thought that would be feasible. The year before, I'd only read 34 books, which I just felt was so few. I used to read so much. And so I had started watching BookTube last year, and anyway, I'm trying to explain way too much about my thought process, and probably nobody cares. Okay, so I'm putting in the garlic, because I love garlic and everything, and then I'm going to put in chili powder, because I love a kick in everything. So I'm putting in some chili powder, but the recipe doesn't call for that. Put that, and then this has to come to a simmer. So leave that. So anyway, so then when I started BookTube and I realized quickly how many books I was reading, I moved it up to 80 books in April, and I hit 80 books, I believe, mid-August. So right now I'm at 113 starting December, and so I've been averaging between 10 to 14 books monthly since I started BookTube, which is amazing. Like, that is everything I wanted for myself, was that I would be able to read that much. Like, that's everything I wanted. And so, but next year I decided to go for 120 because that's 10 books every month. And I feel like that will account for any things I have. My heart, I want to do 150, which is doing like 12 books a month, almost. Less than that in some. But I feel like that will be in my head what I want to get, but I still want to be able to hit my goal. Like, I don't feel like I need to make a stretch goal that's impossible for me to hit, right? So I'm going to put my Goodreads goal at 120 and hope that I can get to that. But really, my stretch goal, that's what we'll call it, would be that I hit 150. So just to show you what I'll be baking this in, I'm baking it in a tin. So when we made it for my family, we put it in a huge pan, but I think for the amount I'm making, it should all fit in here. We'll see. I feel like it will. And you're supposed to grease that. So that's greased up. Anyway, so that's my book goal that I want to hit. So I want to read 12 classics in the new year, because that hasn't really been a focus for me. But one of my dear friends on BookTube, I talk about her pretty much every video, Murphy, she reads classics all the time, and she says they're some of her favorites. Like, some of her all-time favorite books are from classics. And like, I just can't imagine that, because I'm so, I don't know, I like so many YA. I'm gonna try to read 12 classics. And if you've seen one of my recent vlogs, you'll know that I've already been challenged to read The Hobbit, or the Lord of the Rings series, and The Hobbit. So I'm gonna read The Hobbit this year, but in January, I'm sure I'll be on to the other Lord of the Rings. So that's like 3 of the classics right there. I also want to, like, Jane Eyre is on my reread list for next year, which the books I want to reread, that will be a separate video. I'm making a big video. So it doesn't spit all over my microwave. Yeah, so I want to read more classics. So that's another goal. Number 3, I want to try to go to some book events. And now, I don't know what those will look like because, guys, I live in the middle of nowhere, okay? I do. I live in Fargo, North Dakota, and usually the closest place I can go to for book events is the Twin Cities, which is in Minnesota, which is 4 hours away, okay? So it's hard. I've been to 2 book signings before, one for Marissa Meyer and one for Sarah J. Maas, and they were both in the Twin Cities. And so it's a lot. I have to take a whole weekend off, and it's just a lot. But I want to try to, whether that means doing local, like going to events at the library or at my local Barnes & Noble, but I want to try to do some book events. And so I'm starting with 2 because I want it to be attainable, but I hope that is something that I can do. So whether that's a local author doing a book signing that I can support them, or maybe there is something at a high school where I can support my community, whatever that is, I made a lot of that. Whatever that is, I want to try to do that. Okay, so this is what you want it to do before the next step. So there is the heavy whipping cream, milk, and the spices inside, and then you need it to do that. So once it's simmering, we're going to do a couple things. First, I'm going to add the thickener. So this is butter and flour, and it's like 2 tablespoons of each, and you mix it up into a roux, and then you mix it into this. So this is going to help it thicken quite considerably. So now I'm going to turn this down, because it's really rolling. So I'm going to turn that all the way down. And then I'm going to add the cheese. So I have a package of Parmesan shredded, and I'm going to put half of it in right now. Like this. And now I'm going to turn it off too, because it's really going. I think I put a lot of thickener in there actually. Perfect. All right, so I pour it in there. Yeah, I definitely made mine a lot thicker than we did before, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna put more cheese on top. And I also put a lot of cheese because your girl loves a cheese. And now my oven is preheated to 350, and I'm going to put this in and set it for like 13 minutes. So now I'll do my chicken. All right, let's keep it going here. So number 4, I want to DNF more. I feel like this year was really kind of, well, number 1, it was the first year that I even knew that that's what that was called, because I mean I had been DNFing things before, but you didn't like call it that before BookTube. I didn't call it anything special, so I didn't even know that I was doing that. But yeah, I just want to cut the crap faster. Like, I want to come up with a way that it's like a book needs to do one of 3 things. It needs to capture my attention within the first 100 pages. It needs to, you know, give me a peek at what I'm getting into, and it needs to keep my engagement, because if it's not doing that, I need to be able to DNF faster, especially with a goal of 120. I feel like it reduces burnout when I'm not making myself read what I don't want to, and I feel like, yeah, I just feel like it's a good all around. And also just knowing what books aren't meant for me faster, because not all books are going to be meant for you. Like, that's just a fact, Jack, going through this. is I want to annotate and dig deeper. And this is really going to focus on the things that I'm going to reread, because I am really going to make that a goal, is the things that I'm rereading that I'm going to annotate. Because, yeah, I want to have those things. Like, one of the best things about the BookTube community I've found is people being willing to mark up their books and do things. I think that's so fun. So we're just going to give this, I have some lemon pepper spice here. Just going to put that on. Well, yeah, so I want to DNF more. Number 6, I want to do at least 3 readathons. So I know this is a huge part of the BookTube community, and it's a part that I have now done 2 readathons. I did Emoji-a-thon and I did the Tome Topple readathon, and I have fun with those. But I just haven't done enough of them because I don't like getting pigeonholed into books. I said, like, I don't know. I just don't do well with it, and then I feel this pressure because other people are doing it at the same time. I don't know. But I want to do more of them, and I want to do them, but I want to do them with people I want to do them with. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is the community of people that I love most on BookTube, like, those are who I want to do readathons with, so that it gives me more thing. Because, like, I do buddy reads with Murphy and her Patreons, and because I'm reading with them, I'm really into the book usually. Like, because I'm so excited what's going to happen next and hear what they're going to say about it. And so I think, like, doing buddy reads or readathons that way is how I want to do it. So that's kind of exciting. And then number 7. So I think I'll wrap this up with my number 7, and then I'll come back to you when the food's done and you can see what it looks like. Because really we're just waiting for, this has to cook for 8 more minutes, and I have to heat up the chicken, and this video is super long, but that's okay. I want to employ a book buy system, and I know so many people say that and then it doesn't work, and I don't know how it'll work. Because if you've been following my channel for any period of time, you know that I put out book hauls twice a month. I buy enough books to do a bi-monthly book haul, and that's not normal. I'm buying almost 30 books a month. Like, in the time I've been on BookTube, because I have a library app that tracks my books, I have doubled my library. I've bought almost 300 books this year, which is insane. I bought 4 bookshelves this year to put my more books on. And guys, I just have to slow down. You know, like, I have a good job right now and I'm not struggling. Like, I'm not using my book money unwisely. But I think I just need to, now that I feel like you'll never catch up because there's billions of books, but I feel like I've caught up to the ones that I really wanted throughout this year. But now I want to be more selective about what I buy, and, you know, to kind of pick those things out. So I gave myself some rules for this book buying plan, because I don't want to go on a ban. Like, I'm not going to ban myself from buying things, because screw that. I'm a single woman living alone, and I have the extra income to buy what I want. I just want to be more selective. So here are, like, the 3 different ways that it works. So I will have to read 3 books to buy 1, and I already kind of have a chart set up, but I'm saying it doesn't count until the end of the year, so I'm not going to start until January, even though I should start now. So I'm trying to, like, buy every book that I could possibly want before the end. And then number 2, these don't count if they're on my pre-purchase list. So I have a list made on my Amazon of all of the books I want that come out next year. And so whenever those books come out, they don't count on this thing. And then number 3, book outlet 4 times a year doesn't count. So I'm going to try to space it out, because book outlet, you can buy tons of books for super cheap. So I think once a season, I'll go on and let myself spend like $100. And if you've ever ordered from Book Outlet, like, both times I purchased from them, I've gotten 10 to 15 books, and it's only cost me $60. So that's 4 times a year I can spend up to $100 on Book Outlet. So, you know, I can still feed that urge of, like, binging on it. So anyway, that we will see how it goes. I might completely just change my mind and ruin everything, but who knows. So anyway, Well, I'm going to finish this up and I'll check back in with you and you'll get to see what I made, okay? All right. Looks super bland because like there's not a lot of bright colors in it or anything, but I'm telling you, this meal is so good. Like the cheesiness of the corn, like literally I made this meal because I want to make this corn. Guys, it's so good. You should maybe, I'll link an actual recipe though, because I definitely like made this from memory and it's not like the most perfect version if you want to make it for yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching this weird way for me to go over my 2019 goals. But like I said, I just really wanted to cook with you guys. And, you know, if you like this, let me know. You know, I think we all love food and comfort food. And it was just so fun to get to like share that with the friends you made. So anyway, those are my 2019 goals. What are yours? What are you hoping to do in the new year? You know, I'm sure I'll be checking out your channels too. I love knowing what people's goals are and what they hope to accomplish. And yeah, it's not like you expect people to hold you accountable, but it's also nice for, you know, like, you know, people are watching, so it helps you be accountable to yourself. So thank you all so much for watching. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you want to know more about me, you can check out my links down below, and I'll see you in the next video.